Sorcerers here, and I'm here to talk about what would happen if Stardust Dragon, my favourite synchro monster in the game, was my favourite card instead of Dark Magician. Being generic, Stardust can be splashed in pretty much any synchro deck really, and makes him easier to use than Dark Magician and Neos, or at least that was the case back then. I'm not sure what kind of deck I'd play him in, but I'm sure I'd be able to think of something. Well, since I was still a fan of spellcasters, I probably would have changed my Dark Magician deck into a generic spellcaster deck. He'd probably still be in there, just as a main deck boss monster, but I'd splash in stuff to find a way to bring out a level 8 synchros really easily. I'd probably still have Gravekeeper's Spy and Gravekeeper's Guard in there. Maybe the Apprentice Engine, I don't know, although that variant was getting a bit outclassed by around mid-2008, but I still would have tried to make it work, just like my old friend Blue, when he was Sam, was trying to make his spellcaster deck work. Of course, when Rose Warrior Revenge came out, it would have been easier to do, because then, provided I still have a wall in Gravekeeper's Spy, I could use Rose Warrior and make Stardust Dragon a lot more easily. I'd probably throw in a little Psychic Engine as well, Emergency Teleport, Krebons, Psychic Commander. I feel like Spellcaster Synchro is what I'd go for, or alternatively, I'd change my Warrior deck into a Synchro Warrior deck. I'm sure there'd be ways I could easily make it work, even if I ran Junk Synchron as well. I mean, the easiest, back then I noticed that the easiest way to go into Stardust Dragon, or the only one I thought of, was go Special Cyber Dragon, normal Junk Synchron, sync for Stardust. So maybe a level 5 monster, a level 3 tuner engine was what I would have gone with as well. But of course, Stardust Dragon wouldn't be the only level 8 synchro I'd focus on. Then again, the same could be said for everyone. There would also be Red Dragon Archfiend, Colossal Fighter, and Four Ruler Archfiend as well. But Stardust would still be the go-to. Although, round about the same time, Dimensional Prison, one of my long-time hated traps, came into the game, and that started being played just to specifically counter Stardust. So I'd have to run ways to specifically counter Dimensional Prison as well. Maybe even run Raw Decree, and just try not to rely on generic traps. But since my Warrior deck was retired in 2008, I'd probably more likely go with a Spellcaster Synchro deck, and just keep it that way. And then, I would try and use Stardust Dragon Assault mode in the deck as well, even though I would have just stopped playing it, because for the same reason I did in the original timeline. A, because it wasn't working as well as I thought it was, and B, it just wasn't fun. I just didn't like summoning it and negating stuff. Keeping in mind, this was before I officially declared a hatred of monsters that absolutely negate absolutely everything. I would have even tried to play Majestic Star Dragon as well, I think I would have been able to make it work quite well in my deck, but I don't know if I would have kept it in. I feel like it would have just been easier to have the focus on Stardust Dragon. And naturally, shooting Star Dragon and Formula Synchron would eventually be included. And I still probably would have made Legendary Hero as well, and that still would have come about. Things with that would have played out the same way. Although Stardust Dragon wouldn't be coming out that easily. And then when I separated the Signature 3 back, I would have just still played Spellcaster Synchro. Although, when Exesis came into the game, and as more level 4 tuners came about, what I then would have done eventually is made a rank 4 spam deck with the ability to make level 8 synchros as well. So that would basically be the deck. Level 8 synchro, rank 4 spam, and Stardust Dragon would be the ace monster in this timeline. And that would have been my favourite and signature deck that I would have rolled with. I like to think I would have done well in tournaments and won one or two. Then that would have given me all the more reason to get a case of Dawn of Majesty, just like Express Gaming. I don't think we would have gone halves on one, considering we would have both been after the Stardust support. I mean, he probably still would have pulled a Stardust Dragon. Yeah, that's something I didn't mention about Neos. I would have tried to collect every TCG printing of Neos. Same with Stardust Dragon. I would have tried to go after a Starlight Rare version of Stardust Dragon as well. I wouldn't have played it in my deck, but I definitely would have had it in my collection. Looks pretty dark on the screen now. I definitely would have incorporated the Stardust support in, including Stardust Synchron, and maybe I would have tried to run Majestic Star Dragon again. I wouldn't have played Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, because that, along with Stardust Assault Mode, Quasar and Blazar, would have been a Stardust form that I absolutely hate. All of them are negates, and I just refuse to use them, and would have refused to use them. I just remembered about Stardust Junk. I would have made Stardust Junk as well, you know, with the support from Legendary Duelist 6, so Stardust Junk would have still been made, and yeah, that would have been the signature deck. I guess I would have tried to focus more on Stardust with the Stardust support in Dawn of Majesty, but I guess ultimately I would have returned to Stardust Junk, and that would have been the signature deck. And yeah, that is basically what would happen if Stardust Dragon was my favourite card instead of Dark Magician. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.